We're going to show you today how to upload your images and save your images to your OneDrive, a file in your OneDrive. Now your OneDrive you will find on your Glow Launchpad, and this is my OneDrive here. I'm going to open up my OneDrive and I've got my folder here, so I just know. I'm going to create a new folder, so I can just go up to the new tab and you can create a new folder. Okay, and we're going to call it Steve McCurry Portraits. Okay, now you might want to create a little art folder first of all, or if you just so you're just going to create your Steve McCurry portrait folder. Okay, and that'll just be located then further down. Here it is here. I've now created that folder. I'm going to go into create a new tab, and I'm going to search for my country's China, so I'm going to put China, and I'm going to put China flag, and I'm going to look for images. So I'm going to go into images. I'm going to see the China flag, so I'm quite like that flag. I'll just go for a flag there. And you don't have to choose just a plain flag. I quite like that one with the folds in it, so I will choose that flag there. So then I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to save image as. So save image as, and what should come up if you're working on a computer is you should be able to get into your OneDrive. So there's my OneDrive here, and your OneDrive is there. I'm just going to find my Steve McCurry folder, open it up, and then I'm just going to save that image into there. So that's how I'm going to save. I'm then going to look for all my other images that I want to use. So my landscape, a map of China, the language, a cityscape, and then some other images that you quite like. I'm going to save them all into that OneDrive file. This is the PowerPoint you're going to be working through this week, and what I need you to do is I need you to present this. Now I'm going to put a voiceover in the PowerPoint which will give you extra instructions, so we'll just flip through the slides, and that's my research slides all sitting there. And for the second task of the week we are going to be editing your portrait in a program called Photopea. Now it's an online editing program which you can use for nothing, and it's very similar to Photoshop. So you can click on the link here and that'll bring you through into Photopea. And I'll just move that so you can see more of the screen and zoom out. Okay, so it's very similar to Photoshop as you can see in its layout. To the right here, over here, we've got some adverts. That's because it's a free program. Down here we've got our toolbars as we do in Photoshop, and along the top we've got our commands. This bit here is for watching our layers, and it's built in the same way where we're using layers in that. Okay, so I'm going to try and get this a little bit more better in focus so you can see where I'm going. So we're going to start up. Now I'm learning this just as you are learning it, so we can learn this together. So I might make a few wee mistakes. So we're going to open a new file just like we would do in Photoshop. There's the name for the file, so we can just put in portrait in there. Okay, now I like to work with a transparent background rather than a white background, which is a little thing, and I didn't want to do that, so I'm just going to go edit, step backwards. Don't know if it'll let me do that. Right, just now what we're going to do is we're going to take the background away from this portrait. So make sure you're on the right layer. So I'm on the background layer rather than the actual picture layer. And then we go along to our toolbar and we go to the paintbrush. It's slightly different. Now, remember there's a magic eraser tool in Photoshop, but this one we've got a background eraser, okay? So what we want to do is make sure we've got a big enough brush. So I want to make my brush fairly big, Okay, so I just bring my brush settings. So all the settings, things to control this, are all along the top. I want to take the hardness of my brush down because I don't want a sharp edge, and I might just take that there. Oh, something's come up there. So we've got that. I'm just going to try this on the photo and see what I've actually got on my photo here. If I can get my mouse to go on to my... Oh, where are we going? Here we are. Actually, it doesn't look like it's... Just make the hardness of that. Make it a little bit bigger. There, so it's asking me that the smart object must be ratified. So I'm just going to OK that, all right? And then you can see I've got a little circle. Now my little circle's quite small. And if I then just tip on there, I can then cut out the thing. So I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. Okay. So that's a much better circle. Now if I right click on my mouse, I can then just start rubbing out. Now, the good thing about this background is that now I've taken a wee bit of the man's head off there. So what I go to edit and step backwards, and that'll just take that last step that I've done. So if you make any mistakes, you can go sort of up to the edge, but not into the edge, and it just takes the edge away from your portrait. I might just take the tolerance down a little bit to about 30, I think is a better tolerance for this, and it just doesn't cut into your picture as much. So you're just going as close as you can to the edge, and all I'm doing is going round the edge, and because it's got a nice soft edge, it's not taking. I'm going to take a wee bit down here along the edge there. And then I'm just going to take this bit in here around his eyebrow. And I'm just right clicking on that so I can take lots of it off at the same time. If I want to just take circles out, I just can press the mouse down, but I'm just going to right click that, just take a little bit more here off, and then I can just get rid of that last one. So that's what stage we want to get at. So I'm now going to save that. So File, save as or export it as a JPEG. Okay. All right. And then we want to save. Now you can see the save has come down the bottom of my screen. So what I can do is just run the little thing, and I want to show it in folder. Now it's gone into what we call the download folder, okay? And along the side here, I have all my files. Now it might be slightly different on your PC or on your tablet, but you can just work it out. So if I go into my downloads, and you can see there's my portrait there, and there's my folder I want it to go in. So if I just right click on that, I can drag that into the file that I want it to go into. Okay,